Hey,
Oh, there we
hey.
There you go. Oh,
go!
nice.
Awesome. Oh, this is working out perfectly. I love this. I'm sorry. I was so excited for this because I was just, as you guys know, I've been wanting to do this for a minute. And so now that it's actually happening, I'm just beyond thrilled right now.
That's dope.
But here we go. So, before we get started on this episode of the Kickback, I'd just like you guys to introduce yourself for maybe listeners that don't know you. So just tell us who you are and exactly what you do.
Yeah, sure. My name is Melodieux, but my real name is Noah. I'm a music producer from Syracuse, New York. Um, More specifically, Cicero, New York, but I say Syracuse because not a lot of people know where Cicero is at. But that's a little bit about me.
Sweet.
All right. So, hi, my name's Thunderkidd. I am a rapper slash producer, just art enthusiast. So yeah, and I'm based in. Well, I got my start in Cleveland, Ohio, but I'm based in Maryland now.
Let's go. And last but not least,
So my name is Six The Northstar. I'm a producer. I push buttons, shit. Manila, Philippines.
there we go. So not only do we have you guys from different parts of the country, but also a different country. Thank you, Threads.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Threads is the
before
glue for real.
it's I feel like Threads is really the glue. Like honestly connecting with so many musicians that aren't even from this area, just everywhere. Like you guys, the fact that we have this platform is amazing, I think.
For sure.
Word.
So, I mean, why don't you guys tell me because you all dive in a little bit about producing and I just want to give an intro like of people knowing your story a little bit before I start interrogating you in a way. But you're a Thunderkidd, you're a rapper and producer. Melodieux, I'm probably saying that wrong, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, it's Melodieux.
Melodieux, you've been creating music and so have you, Six The Northstar. So why don't you tell us more about how you really dove into not only creating lyrics but also producing in the industry?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got my start in high school. I used to mess around with GarageBand. I had an iPod Touch, so not even like a MacBook or anything. And I was just producing on there, like tapping buttons, doing random synthesizers with like strings and orchestral instruments, just random stuff. And then my buddy um, reached out to me and was like showing me all these remixes he was making with a program called FL Studio, and I was like, "Whoa, this is rad! I didn't even know you could do that like at a beginner and novice level." So I looked into it and ended up buying like the educational version of FL Studio, and then just started producing music and fell in love with it really.
Oh. What about you, Thunderkid?
So I got started, like I grew up playing instruments. I played violin, bass guitar, but then I got into making beats when I was around like middle school age, and like into the just audio engineering side as well, like recording myself, just different things. And then I didn't really start writing songs until around 2021. And that was just as a form of like stress relief and trying to, and like really escapism, pandemic,
Yep.
getting a little bit of quarantine fever there. So I decided to start doing songwriting, and now here we are.
Oh. What about you, Six?
Uh, Started around grade school. Yeah. Sort of. got into like making beats, asked for like drum machines and stuff, like in a music store. And then I got a chance to go through some like software. It wasn't FL Studio back then, it was Fruity Loops. And then, yeah, it pretty much got hooked into it and it felt kind of easy for me and stuff. So, yeah, from there, I think I was around 13 or like 12 when I started. So, yeah. Then, yeah, I'm here making music.
There we go. And I feel like that's just important to showcase because it's just like all three of you started at different phases in your life in a way, you know, but you found like this little passion in it and you're just like, oh, maybe this could be something more, you know, and you just became more curious in it and you started learning more about it, which is awesome. And one of the reasons why I was so excited for this episode because you're producers, you're the beat makers, like you're the one kind of not only some people might consider it the background, but some people actually listen to the beat rather than the lyrics. So
Yeah.
what do you think is like as a producer working with an artist creating a beat for them, what would you say is like the most important part to you when creating a song?
Um, I would say the most important part, I guess to be true to my name, is like the melody and the vibe. I mean, a song can convey a lot of emotion, and I will say that like you don't even need to understand the lyrics of a song to kind of get the gist of what the song's about. So, in that sense, that music is universal, and it kind of transcends lyrics. So, with that being said, the instrumentation is super crucial, and for me at least, I want to make sure that the song can resonate with people on an acoustic level.
That makes sense. And I love that you said that just because touching on like music can be universal. I think one of the things that I've learned the most is I've spoken to artists from this country and artists from other countries, but it's like what we said, music is universal, where we might not even understand the language, but something about the song kind of keeps us hooked on it, right? What about you, Thunderkidd?
So, kind of to piggyback off of what he said, it's definitely about, I'd say the most important thing is what is the emotion or what's the feeling that the song is trying to convey, because that is going to inform all the other decisions that go into making that song. So, I guess I'm going to try and not be so long-winded because it's not just me here. So I would say really the most important thing is texture to me, you know, because I mean, with us being producers here, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys too have folders of just, you know, kicks, snares, this and that. You have a whole list of them, but you know, if you're making us like a love song, you're not gonna choose like the standard 808 clap or something like that. You know, you're maybe gonna want to go with a rim shot, something like that. So texture is important.
I love how you said that too. I love using that word texture just to describe like what you're saying because when you explain it like that, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's like that's different, but I like it. What about you, Six?
Um, it's really just me molding whatever the song calls for, or like what the artist wants to express on a track. Like a lot of I'm sure there are a bunch of people who listen to music where they're just focusing on like the beats and stuff. But on my end, like given that I've been doing it for a minute, so it's really just like helping the artist mold what they want to express like in the studio. So yeah, just like what Thunderkid said, like if you're making like a love song and stuff, I mean, you gotta help the artist convey the same message to like the listeners and stuff. I mean, I just messed around with an 808 on a love song, but I mean, like in general, like but in general though, right? Like you want to help the person out or like the artist out to form whatever it is that you want to express during that session. So it's really Yeah, it's really just molding the whole thing into something that they wanna express on an album.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense too, and I love how all of you guys answered that. Just because, again, that was your own answer, but it still connects to each other in your own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your Melodieux is talking about really going from the feeling of what the song is about to mean or about to say. You're saying the texture of the song and molding a song. Like I feel like I'm in a pottery class right now. You know what I mean? But you guys, when we did our one-on-ones, you guys mentioned like different producers that you kind of look up to, found inspiration from. Now, the question I want to ask is, instead of a producer, like, let's just say, I was going to create a song for you guys, right? I have the song written out, ready for you guys to create this amazing beat, but I'm looking for more of, let's go with love, but like a soft love, not like a super hard love. Now, when you guys create these beats, like how do you get inspired? Is it just by the lyrics, or do you kind of visualize something, or is it just one by one listening to those instruments, those beats, and putting it all together?
At least for me, um, I've always been able to visualize what instruments I can hear in my head. I mean, I'm always like trying to be a humble person, but like I feel like I was born with an innate gift to be able to like hear what things need, and I can't like I'm not musically trained like as far as like all of the scales go and chord progressions. I just kind of like play around on the keyboard and like different instruments like the guitar. I don't even know what notes I'm playing half of the time, and then I'm just hitting record, and then I'll just like take stuff that sounds good, and I don't know, it's just kind of like a feeling like I know this is what it needs. It's not necessarily like I need to hit it with violins. I need to hit it with trumpets. I need to hit it with, soft kick drums and stuff. I'm just going, like vibing, flowing.
I love that. And I think that just, I remember you mentioning that earlier, and it's just kind of like what they say, you have like a ear for music in a way. Like that just, it's one of your skills. You know, like some people are better at reading music, some people are just better at picking it up and going along the way.
For sure.
What about you, Thunderkidd?
I'm trying to think here because, like, I always try to listen for the descriptive words. So you said like a soft love, and I guess what I would just really start by asking more questions about like who, like what artists or what songs in particular do you think of when you're thinking of that? Because really, what I do or what I specialize in is it's a it's a book. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist, right?
Okay.
So basically, it's like you just take reference points from what you already know, like really well, and you mix them together through your lens. So that's really what making music is about. It's like it's about reference points, especially when I'm a hip hop artist that's based on sampling. Like you have to have reference points to be able to connect the dots and put it together. So really, that's for me. That's what it's about.
And that,
That's where I'd start.
oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that makes absolute sense because like if it is a love song and let's just say it's an R&B version, like let's just say the artist was actually thinking of being more of a Umi style instead of an Alicia Keys powerhouse belting. Like you kind of want to suit their vocals, I'm guessing, and like the setting that they're going for.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What about you, Six?
Yeah. If like the lyrics is written already, or like the subject matter is already pretty much written down, so it's really an exchange with like the artist on like how they would want it to sound, and then what I do is I dig for records, right? So most of my stuff sound too, but it's all vinyl. So I go through record shops and just go through some of like the stuff that what I think would fit the voice of the artist. So it's really me. I'd say building around the voice of the artist rather than.
Right.
I mean, for sure, I get what Thunderkidd means with the thing, but like at the same time, I'm more on like finding that right record that sometimes would take a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll take a while for me to find that. There's definitely reference points. There's stuff that you've already heard all your life, like you'd want like some Dilla drums at times on certain songs. You know what I mean? Like because you've heard it in R&B songs before, but you put in a little bit of like New Jack Swing stuff. It really depends on what the the voice. Like for me, it's really about the voice because I'd always visualize already the artist singing to it or like rapping to it.
That makes sense. And I mean, the way you described it right now, it just feels like the way you create it, it's kind of like an adventure for you. Like going to record shops,
Yeah,
like seeing what it's kind of like experimenting in
yeah.
a way.
Spend $10 for a snare drum. For a snare, like you find a 45, like with that snare, $10. I'll buy it.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make it work, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that. No, I mean, when you guys think about it, like technology now is just so advanced. You have all these producing programs, you have AI helping artists create and whatnot. Like, would you say that helps you in a way with all these different programs, or would you say that kind of hurts you just because like singer and songwriters can actually find a way to create their own beats, produce their own beats? Like, does that hurt you in a way where you don't get as much clients?
Um, so I don't really work with clients at all. I kind of just like collaborate with other people. And I got a job on the side, as I said in my other interview, which is helping fund my music career. So like, obviously, music ain't paying the bills, or is going to pay the bills anytime soon. But with that being said, I'm all for like AI and all this new technology and stuff, but I personally don't want to use that just because my writing style, like, I've got a Juno synth, I've got a trumpet, I've got two good, like an electric guitar and acoustic guitar, and to me, like playing these instruments is way different than just going into AI and saying, "Yo, cook me up this type beat with, you know, this guitar sample, this amp, and etc." Like it kind of takes like the liveliness and authenticity out of an artist. So, I applaud anyone that uses it, but not for me.
I mean, I actually completely agree with that. Not saying like we should all agree. I still want to hear your opinions, but I just want to mention like it's what Sensei Ace said. Like nothing better than organic, at least in my eyes, and I'm sure it's the same way for you, where you feel that passion. You feel that emotion right there and then, even if there's mistakes, like you can still feel it, right?
No, for sure, for sure.
But what about you, Thunderkidd?
Wow, that's a loaded question there.
Just kidding.
So what I would say is, for like technology, does it hurt me getting clients? Well, first off, like I said in my my one-on-one with you, Like, I was never good at selling beats, never had clients anyway. That's why I'm here rapping, right? So I'm kind of a one-man band at the moment. So, like, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing now without all the technology, without being able to, grab my Machine Micro and make a beat and then turn around and load up Pro Tools and get on my mic and, do all of that. Like, with all these different programs, I can go from literally blank canvas or a voice note in my phone to, a couple weeks, month later or so, I have a fully formed song that I created, recorded, mixed, mastered, all that. As far as AI goes, I mean, I feel like it's kind of inevitable just with where technology uh, or how technology seems to evolve and everything, and I mean, just kind of like how it is with people that like illustrators, like the AI art is already here and it's affecting them, but at the same time, it doesn't feel the same. It's not as clean. Um, it's not. Well, actually, AI art is too clean, in my opinion. You can kind of look at it, and it all has, like, no matter what the picture is, it has this weird sheen to it. So nothing beats reaching out to living, breathing artists. Uh, so I say the same thing with music. Like the AI, like SpongeBob covers of songs, like listening to Patrick singing Adele. It's fucking hilarious, right? But you're still gonna go listen to Adele, you know?
No, exactly. And I mean, I love that you said that too, that it's inevitable just because what Melodieux was saying. It's it's going to be very clean, but not, we go back to, oh, sorry, not Melodieux, but what Sensei was saying, nothing beats organic. You're going to get that perfect, clean cut um, beat or whatever you're producing, but you're not, it feels like it's superficial in a way just because it's so perfect, at least in my eyes.
Exactly. Where people aren't perfect, so when you listen or when you see things that are too perfect, it's kind of just it's not there. It's
I feel that.
it feels like there's something missing.
Yep. No, exactly. And what about you, Six?
Yeah, only for fun, I guess, with AI. I mean, you start using the voice of like artists you never work with,
Yeah.
for fun, like remixing stuff or whatever. But like in general, I'm not really threatened by it, and like technology is fast. You find a way for things to be incorporated with like how you work on like music in general. But for me, I don't see myself really using it in a sense, unless it's like I don't know, but like I guess stems, you know. But like in general, like AI generated stuff, you can tell already. Like what Thunderkidd said, like you can tell, like there's no human aspect or like there's no humanized feel to it. So, and I've always operated in such a manner where I don't um program my drums, like I play it live and stuff, just so people would know that it's still like there's still like a dude playing the beat in the back. So you'd always separate yourself. Like as producers, even if we don't really know each other and stuff, like there's always a way for us to set ourselves apart from what's out there. So that's I think it's a like a texture game. It's like it's character really. Like for me, beats for me. Like for example, I like my beats like really dirty. So sometimes I don't really like cleaning the record where I sample at, and that already brings character to what I do. So in a way, even if like how people can add like vinyl static to their beats or whatever, but you can tell
Yeah.
just by listening. It's all just like an extra layer that they put. So even with that, there's not really any threat whatsoever on my end though with what's out there in technology.
No, I mean, I feel like what you said right now too, like it kind of just shows like the more natural sounding it is, not with AI, but like the more you get to experiment, the more you get to create different sounds, not just like sounds that are already created or like generic instruments. Like you get to create your own instrument in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet. And so I guess my next question would just be, there's, even outside of the music industry, there's this talk about like title versus talent. You know, going to school, getting a degree, you're automatically valued more than someone who might have the experience and the talent for it. Now, would you agree that that matters in the music industry? Like, would you say like you need to go to Juilliard, you need to go to like a big fancy music school to be successful? Or do you think like your talent will show, it's just a longer process?
I'll start by answering this question by saying connections are everything in any industry. Whether you're in music, sales, engineering, you name it, like hell, even the medical profession. It's all about who you know, because you could be a nobody that produces the best beats in the world and not get it heard by anyone just because you don't have the contacts to push that stuff out there. You could also be a really big artist, like with a big network, and produce shit and have it be like, you know, like blowing up like with millions of streams, just because you have that reach. So with that being said, I mean, especially nowadays with YouTube and the internet, like there's so much knowledge out there. Like I didn't go to school for music. I went for mechanical and aeronautical engineering, something completely different. And I learned music on the side just from YouTube videos and just messing around in a DAW and just having fun and like playing around with it. So to anyone out there saying that you did like a formal education to make it, like middle fingers up. Like
That's real.
I'm just saying, like you could definitely make it, and you know, I'm still on this journey. I'm still, you know, riding that wave, but you just got to keep pushing and network. That's all I gotta say.
And I agree with you on that, just because you're right. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, networking is always key. You could be the smartest kid in the room, but if you don't know anyone, you're still going to be affected by that. You know, you can be the most talented and you can still network. Boom. Right? What about you, Thunderkidd?
So, to that point, I would say it's not where you get the information. It's just, are you getting the information and are you applying it? You know, because I did go to, I went to community college. I went to Tri-C, downtown Cleveland for about 2 years, and I did the music production course, or the recording arts and technologies course. I didn't finish because I got burnt out, but that's beyond the point. But so I learned the foundations of what I use every day now, right? But to that same point, there's plenty of that information on YouTube as well. That was part of the reason I dropped out, was because I was doing all this stuff, and it's like, really what I realized was the only thing that makes what I'm seeing on YouTube different than what I'm doing in class is that in class I can, you know, I have the instructor there and I can touch everything physically, and I'm also getting my hands on, you know, like $1,000 worth of equipment that I would elsewise never have access to, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm still using the educational version of Pro Tools that I bought back in 2013. You know, stock plugins for the most part. Like,
No.
so
I mean, I feel
yeah,
like
no,
in
you
that it
don't
just
need
shows like your discipline. It's what you're taking away from that. Like you can go to a school or you can be self-taught, right? Like
exactly,
how committed are you in this career that you're choosing?
exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Six?
Yeah, I don't think you don't really need any like formal education for like music. I mean, it helps. I mean, just like Melodieux, I don't really know the notes or like the progression that I play, man. It just sounds nice. Or you've heard it. Like half of the time, most of the drum, like most of the chord progression is really like from records that I've heard, you know. I'm like, huh, sounds like a Coltrane kind of progression, you know what I mean? But in essence, you don't really need any of that. So as long as you're pushing, um, you're progressing as an artist, you're exploring music in general, and yeah, everything that they said is actually true. Like you need to know, you need to have like a network where you put out your music. That's why half of the time of like whenever I visit like a country, it's really me introducing myself to like pocket community, introducing my music to them and stuff. So because like what I do is already very niche for some, and you got to know your place and like things and stuff. But I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I mean, I have a day job too. I went to school for that, but like for music though, no, not really. Like half of the people, or like more of the people that I know, didn't really have any formal education when it comes to music, and they just learned also, especially now everything's online. You could check out YouTube on how to like mix and master stuff. And it's really up to you at this point where you wanna progress as like a musician or like an artist or like a producer.
I mean, again, I agree with actually all of you because I feel like we're on the same mindset where, you can be successful even without a degree. And I feel like that was great hearing it from all of you just because it shows like no matter what title you have, no matter what day job you have, we all have a day job. And it's just like, no matter what that is, who are you behind that? What's your skill behind that, right? Like a title, a name can only do so much, but it's what you bring to the table. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I mean, before we go, thought I'd ask this question, especially since you guys are producers, but I don't want you guys to think of producers only. Keep it open. But if you guys had founding fathers for the music industry, who would that be for you?
Ooh. Like the entire industry?
Yeah, it can be producers if you only want to stick with producers. I didn't want to limit it to that just because I didn't know if you guys have influences from songwriters, singers, producers. So I just wanted to keep it open-ended.
I think for me, it would have to be Avicii, mainly because as someone who suffers from mental health issues, I can definitely relate to Avicii and what he went through. I mean, I'm sure I can't even like fully relate based on like the scale he got to. I mean, being like a full-time traveling DJ, and you know, multi-million stream producer, and God rest his soul. But I think he got a lot of backlash from when he fused like country with EDM, and everyone's like, "What the hell is this? Like, what did you just create? Like, this is not good." And then radio stations started picking it up, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, all right, I see what he's doing here." And then the hits just kept rolling. From wake me up to the nights, and I can keep going. But he's been super influential to me, and a lot of people.
Okay. Did you just want to name Avicii, or do you want to name like 3 more for the founding fathers?
I would just say Avicii. I think he's had the biggest impact in the community,
Oh, okay.
personally.
I like it. I just wanted to ask.
Sure.
What about you, Thunderkidd?
So it kind of sounds like your question is more like a who's your Mount Rushmore? Is that what you're asking? Like you want to know who's like?
Sorry, you got me on that. Mount Rushmore. Yep.
Okay. That makes it a little easier. I'd say John Williams, the film composer. So if you're not familiar with John Williams, you definitely are familiar with John Williams. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter. Like I don't even like Harry Potter because I got into that like way too late. Religious parents, all that. But the music for Harry Potter, crazy. Like it feels magical. Like John Williams is the master of being able to communicate a feeling and like make an atmosphere of something. And like the way, like in Star Wars, like some of those motifs that are in the Star Wars films, they carry from episode, like the very first one, A New Hope, and you'll hear them in, in like the prequels, and they don't sound out of place. Because they communicate the same feelings and same emotions. I'd say another person that'd be on my Mount Rushmore would be Pharrell, because he's just he's able to just like go in and out of so many different genres and worlds and everything, and he's like, I know he's talented at like I think playing instruments or like being a vocalist, but really I think his I guess his superpower, I'd say, is being more of like a tastemaker and a curator. So, yeah, there's that. I'm trying to think of at least a third person.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, definitely Hans Zimmer. I mean, I felt like I've gone on and on about Hans Zimmer in my one-on-one with you. Again, just kind of like John Williams, how he's able to, like how John Williams is able to make an atmosphere, like Hans Zimmer is just able to make something just feel larger than life, and he does it like every time. Like I don't know how he does it.
Absolutely.
And probably another person would be, actually, I can't think of one. I can't think of another one. There's just too many. I pull too many. I pull inspiration from too many people. So I'm just gonna throw throw it to the next guy.
It's fine. And I just wanted to touch on yours before we move on to Six. It's just like when you started naming like Hans Zimmerman, John Williams, like it just reminded me of our conversation where you look into like film scores. I think you were talking about a Batman movie. I don't remember specifically, but you were talking about this Batman
Dark Knight.
movie. There we go. And you were just like, yo, it got me thinking, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And I think that's very cool because I do agree with you. Not only like producers like Pharrell, like Timbaland, like Hans Zimmerman, John Williams, like I never really watched Star Wars, but like in Harry Potter, they're just about to feast and it feels like you're already there. You're getting all the feels in it.
Exactly.
So yeah, I get where you're coming from on that. But last but not least, Six, who would be your Mount Rushmore?
Hardest question ever. Can you ask me like a different question? No, just kidding. Yeah, uh, RZA definitely, Wu Tang. Uh, grew up listening to RZA. Something about doing your music, regardless what was out there, and people picking it up and putting it on radio, like making music that's not really for radio anyway, but you get that shine. So I think that's the whole ethos of what I do anyway. So it's RZA, I'd say Madlib for sure, but just the artistic freedom that goes like with his music. That's what I want to achieve also on my end. Alchemist, Al definitely. Um, how he has progressed. He started early '90s, still relevant to this day. The new generation of listeners. I think the longevity of like his career, I want that really attracts what I do. And then I guess Sun Ra, because I'm just weird. I'm just like that. So I love the whole ethos of like just putting out music regardless. I think that's the whole reason why I like those four. Mainly because you don't they don't really give a shit. They just want to put out music, and then like people just follow, pick up from there. I think that's what I want to pull off too, this lifetime.
Yeah. I actually love
Can
your
I
examples too. Oh, sorry.
can I just throw in something
Yeah,
right here? Bro,
yeah.
I feel like I know what your music sounds like just by your answers right here. Like I've heard you say Dilla, I've heard you say Alchemist, Madlib, like oh my god. Now I have to hear what you make, dude.
Let's link up after then.
Okay. For
Hey!
sure.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's cute. Um, no, I just wanted to touch on like Six's answers just because again, I remember our one-on-one too, and you were just talking about like just being in the game. You were joking about it being like, oh, like I'm old, blah blah blah, but like it just shows like you don't just want to be like a temporary like pleasure for someone's ears. Like you're here for the long run. You want to be like a legend. You want people to know like even if it's a new generation or older generation, like you're still gonna be here, right? And that's like that shows with your answer with the artists that you need.
Where yeah, this is pretty much like I don't know about the whole legend stuff. I just wanna just put out music like there's like a I don't know, each generation, or like it doesn't matter what your age is, you just pick it up and you learn to like appreciate whatever it is that it doesn't have to be the whole catalog, just get people to listen and stuff.
Kind of just like take a pause in their day and like maybe even help them like relax or whatever. But it's the fact that they're actually listening to you, no matter what age and whatnot, right?
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Now, I mean, before we go, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this first ever kickback episode. I'm so happy I got to do this with all of you
Of course.
at the same time. This I hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, for sure.
This has been fun.
Sweet. And I hope you guys stay connected, connect with each other, maybe other artists. What would be the best place for people to give you a listen or connect with you?
Instagram, Threads, Spotify, SoundCloud are all good locations. Pretty much on every streaming platform.
Yep. So if you want to talk to me, Threads for sure. I'll be getting on Threads right after we get off of here. And then if you want to listen to me, links in the bio. I'm on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube Music, Napster somehow. Yeah, Pandora. I'm on it all.
What about you, Six?
Yeah, Instagram for sure, Spotify, um, all the streaming platforms. Threads, and then yeah, pretty much everywhere there online, it's out there.
Okay. Sweet. And I mean, I will, just like our one-on-ones, I'll attach links so people are just a click away. It's going to be easy for them to follow you on whatever platform they choose to.
All right.
Cheers.
Sweet. Well, you guys have a good rest of your night and day. And I will talk to you guys soon, all right?
Yeah.
Sounds
All
good.
right. See ya.